What a beautiful day here in northern Michigan. I'm Andrew Grecki, physical therapist at Superior Physical Therapy, and I want to show you what I would consider the top 3 exercises or movements, is a better way to describe it, for stenosis. Stenosis, we know that if you have these 3 things, you're more than 97% likely to have stenosis in your lower back. Pain with walking, you're over the age of 55, and the pain goes away when you sit down. 97% likely that you have stenosis. So I'm here to show you what we do at Superior Physical Therapy, the most commonly with patients that have stenosis that has the best results. So we look at the lower back and we identify that stenosis is narrowing of the canal that the nerve comes out of. And we know that that hole is dynamic. That hole can close with motion and it can open up with motion. And some of the motions that can compress that hole or make that hole smaller would be 3 things. Extension backwards is one that's going to close the hole. On the right side, leaning to the right is going to close the hole. And again, if I'm the right side, rotation to the left is going to compress that hole. So we're going to try 3 exercises or movements today that are going to try to essentially eliminate or decrease the amount of time that that hole is getting compressed or smaller. And the biggest bang for your buck, per se, is going to be the hips. If the hips are not moving in 3 planes of motion correctly, whether it's because of flexibility or mobility, and sometimes even weakness and stability, that's going to cause a more likely chance that you're going to have compression in your lower back. By far the most common thing we see is the front of the hips. There's a muscle in the front of the hips called the hip flexor, and I'm going to show you the easiest way to start to loosen that up so that you can have less compression in your back. And here I am next to my park bench, and I want to show you how to do this without any special equipment or needing to go to a gym or anything like that. So we're going to start with this bench. So in order to get my left hip to loosen up, I'm going to put my right foot on this elevated surface. Now the higher it is, the more intense this stretch is going to be. So I'm going to have both feet pointed straight forward. In fact, I'm going to turn this foot in just a little bit. If I'm struggling with balance, I'm going to put something next to me so I can hold on to it. I'm pretty good, I do this a lot, so if you need to have some support, by all means, grab onto something. All I'm going to do is I'm going to gently slide my hips front to back, and right away I can feel some tension kick in right here. I'm also going to try to keep my back fairly flat, and I do that by tilting my pelvis back. Then I'm going to drive my hips forward. I'm going to spend about 30 seconds going front to back, okay? We know that this muscle has to lengthen in 3 planes of motion. So the first plane of motion is front to back. The second plane of motion is going to be side to side, okay? We're going to let the hips move side to side. And the third plane of motion is going to be rotation. My hips are going to move around in rotation. I'm going to, of course, switch my legs. I'm going to start over, 30 seconds front to back, 30 seconds side to side, and then 30 seconds of rotation. So that's by far the most important thing you can do to make walking easier and have less low back pain. The second thing is going to be these muscles on the inner thigh. They're called the adductors. Very simple. Instead of having my feet straight, I'm going to turn this one and point it this way. This one's still going to go straight. Then I'm going to gently drive my hips front to back or towards that elevated surface. Immediately I can feel some tension in my inner thigh. In order to protect this knee, I'm going to lock this knee out straight. Now here I go. Real gentle side to side, 30 seconds. Then to get 3 planes of motion, we're going to go front to back. 30 seconds. Make sure the motion is coming from the hips and not the back. And then around in circles. Those are my 2 mobility exercises to make my hips move better so that my back doesn't hurt as much. This third motion is actually going to be for the lumbar spine. We're going to do a motion that's just going to open up those facet joints and make those nerves happy. We're actually going to use our chair here. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to take my hands, I'm going to reach down toward the ground. Now, very common for somebody to say, wow, I feel a lot of tension back here. I'm here to reassure you that tension is good. If you have stenosis, this is a very healthy position. So I'm going to take my hands after I stretch my hips. I'm going to reach down towards the ground 10 times. On that 10th one, I'm going to hold this for about 30 seconds. I'm going to repeat that whole sequence 2 to 3 times a day, and I'm going to give it about 2 weeks before I can make a judgment whether or not that's helping me. Now, keep in mind, these are our top 3 exercises. There are hundreds of reasons why someone can have lower back pain. If this isn't working for you, there's hope. Don't give up. I would encourage you to call a physical therapist. At Superior Physical Therapy, we have stenosis specialists. Our number is 231-944-6541, and we'll get you in right away if you need help. Thanks.